Okay, so let's do the weighted average method. So in the weighted average method, we are going to get a new average every time we purchase more inventory. So once we get that weighted average, we will use it every time we sell until we purchase more. So every time we purchase something, we'll calculate a new weighted average. So that's really the key to this. So first, let's put in our beginning inventory. It started out at 420 in quantity at $8 a unit. So we will multiply 420 times 8 and we will get $33.60. So on May 12th we had a sale. Anytime we sell inventory, it goes into cost of merchandise sold. We just have one price and it's $8. So we are going to sell 300 units at $8. So that would be 2,400. So at this point, what we have left is 420 minus 300, which would be 120, and the unit cost is $8. And then multiply the quantity times your unit cost. So ending inventory is $960. So on May 23rd we purchased more. So here we're going to put in the actual quantity we purchased of 280 at the price that we purchased it, which was $9, to get a total cost. And I put that in the wrong column, so let me back up here. Purchase 280 at 9 and 280 times 9 would be a total cost of $25.20. And when we get over here is where we have to pause and get a new weighted average. So right now we had 120 at $8 for a total price of $960. And we just now purchased 280 more at $9. So to get a weighted average, it's total price divided by total quantity. So right now, my total price is $3,480, and my total quantity is $400. So now we got half to divide. So 3,480 divided by 5. So my average price is $8.70. So if you look at that, that makes sense because this is a weighted average. Because the average of 8 and 9 would be $8.50, but the weighted average takes into account that we have more of the 280, more of the units at $9 than we do at the units of $8, so it's closer to the $9. In other words, our weighted average is going to be a little bit more than our average of $8.50. So that's why it's called a weight average, because it's weighted based on the quantities that we have of the actual inventory at the different price levels. Alright, so when we put this in, we have 400, which is the 120 plus the 280 at our new weighted average cost of $8.70. So multiply across, and our new price is $3,480 in ending inventory on May 23rd. Notice that our total inventory should tie to this number down here, which it does. And then on May 26th, we're going to sell 200 units. We're going to sell 250 units at our weighted average price, which we calculated to be $8.70. So our total cost, if we multiply across for cost of goods sold would be $21.75. Don't recalculate anything because we only do that when we have a purchase. So now we are still left with 400 minus 250, which is 150 at our unit cost of 870. Multiply across. And our ending inventory is 1,305. Okay, so let's answer the questions. The first question said, assuming a perpetual inventory system and using the weighted average method, determine the weighted average unit cost after May 23rd purchase. So after the May 23rd purchase, we determined that the weighted average unit cost would be $8.70. Okay, and then for B, the cost of merchandise sold on May the 26th, we got $21.75. And then for C, the cost of the merchandise sold, for C, the ending inventory on May the 31st would be the $1,305. $1,305, and you can put the $sign in front of those numbers. I don't have it formatted right now, but that is pretty much how you calculate the weighted average method. Notice that we didn't have to use these weighted average charts, but if you had additional purchases, you would have to calculate a new weighted average cost each time, but we only had one purchase here, so we only had to use one of those. Let me know if you have any questions.